matter. I'm glad you've made the connection and are here with us today. I'm Lori Fitz, your host, and the goal of our show is to explore a wide range of topics that challenge us to see ourselves, our community, and the world around us that get us thinking, get us talking, get us imagining, and get us connected, and perhaps inspired or challenged to do just a bit more because we've made that connection. So our show today is co-produced with our partners, the Reviving the Islamic Sisterhood for Empowerment, and that's RISE. Wonderful group. We're just so joyful that we are in partnership. And my co-host is Zainab Abdi. She is the Civic Engagement Coordinator at RISE. Welcome, Zainab. I'm so glad you're here today.
Thank you very much. I'm very glad to be here and join you all, and also joining our amazing special guest, Anisa Haji, who is the founder of Leonora Skincare. And I would love to bring Anisa Haji in the conversation. Can you please talk about your business and yourself and introduce yourself to the audience?
Thank you, Lori and Zainab, for having me today. I am the co-founder of Leonora Company. I started the company with my husband 4 years ago, and we have organic skincare like healing clay masks, charcoal, knee masks, aloe vera mask, and we also have essential oil for beautiful, soft, healthy, glowing skin. We also have hair oils for both girls and boys. We sell hijabs and dresses. Our business is leonora.com. Yes, and I'm excited to be here to talk about women empowerment. I feel like my husband has empowered me, and I also work full-time as a program manager for a nonprofit organization, Avivo, and I'm a mother of 4.
Wonderful. Now, I have to admit, Anisa brought in some of her products, and Zainab and I have been playing with them.
We're loving it.
Yes, they're amazing. It soaks into your skin. She has this amazing, it's called the Leonora. It's for hair, nails, and skin, and it's an essential oil with grapeseed oil. Oh my gosh, it is amazing. We're all glowing in here.
Thank you, Laura.
And Leonora, doesn't that mean glowing?
Yes, so it means the name Leo is a Swahili name for today, as in Leo, and then Nura means like a light in Somali or even Swahili, so glow today.
Well, in our little studio here, we're all glowing. And we thank Anisa for our glowing opportunity. And I'm also excited to talk about women empowerment. I understand RISE is doing an economic empowerment series, how to start a business for Muslim women. And it's going to be a Zoom online on June 23rd from 6 to 7:30.
Exactly. And we have been doing all those economic series to empower Muslim women. And every month we have different focus. And this month we're going to have the focus of how to start a business, because especially there is that obstacles of like how to do that. And a lot of Muslim women don't see themselves like in the business field. So having Muslim business owners like Anisa being our guest and talking about her experience and how it started, that would be really amazing. And we'd love to have you all there.
Wonderful. And Anisa, you're going to be speaking at this one.
Yes, I will be speaking about how to start a business, ways to go through, what they need to do. Yes.
And for more information, should they go to the website, revivingsisterhood.org?
Exactly. You're going to find the event there, and you need to register for it.
Well, you bring up something that's really important, and that's looking at barriers that Muslim women may face when they're looking at building wealth, being a businesswoman. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I myself as a Muslim woman and Black as well, we have been seeing all those barriers in the United States within our own communities, and most of them is the unknown barrier and like the lack of education, that we don't know how to build credit cards, how to have like home ownership, the knowledge of investment, which is right now we see investment has been going up, but still there is lack of education within our communities about investment, credit cards, and business ownership. And we see women are less likely to get into the places to build their wealth, and Muslim women and BIPOC women face additional barriers because of their religion, race, and also like women, as Muslim women, we are more identified as Muslims than men. So we have to tackle on that barrier. So when we are in the business world, when we promote our business and all this thing and building wealth and designing in a place where it has been dominated by white men.
So it's a combination of knowledge, just not knowing about, what does it take to build wealth. But also, I think it sounds like what you're saying, it's also kind of courage because you don't know to move forward. And if you don't see a lot of women like you in that field, it's hard to know, do you belong? Do you feel like you belong?
Exactly. And Muslim women have been also seeing one narrative in the media. When we talk about successful business, it has been always white men in the media, in social media, in the TV, and all those magazines. And that's why we need to shift the narrative. And Anisa is one of the amazing examples of how that narrative has been changed. And I would love to know from Anisa, what do women and Muslim women, BIPOC women, bring to the table in the term of economic empowerment?
So many Muslim women here in Minnesota actually have their own businesses, whether it's nonprofits, store owners. If you go to the Somali Mall in Minneapolis, you see 90% of those stores are owned by mothers, young girls that are still going to school, the makeup stores, hair stores. There's so many stores, and there's daycare businesses. So it's amazing that they're doing that, but also they're raising the next generations of the Muslim world. So this is why it's important for Muslim women. So one thing they bring to the table is diversity, because they're diverse and like they're from different backgrounds. Yes, we wear the hijab, but it doesn't mean we are less of a person or we're not capable of doing anything. Another thing they bring to the table is the fact that they empower those young women, to see them as an example. So now I have a daughter, and I want my daughter to believe that she can be anything she wants. Even she can become the president of this country because she's born here. I wasn't born. I came here as on a fiancé visa through my husband. But at the same time, I got this opportunity to work full time to also have my business and run it. It's an amazing thing, you're not able to do that in a lot of the world. And one thing I love about this country is giving everybody the opportunity to become someone.
Well, it sounds wonderful that you're mentoring your daughter and that's important to you. And I agree. I am thrilled that your daughter would have aspirations to become president. And it is a wonderful country that embraces immigration. We're based on an idea that everyone is equal.
Yes.
And that is a powerful, powerful thing. And when I see strong women who are good in business and building their wealth, it makes me very proud to be part of supporting that. But getting back to who helped mentor you so that you felt, or was that just something that was always within you that you wanted to be in business?
I studied business, but I never thought I'll open my own business. I do have a degree in business administration and a master's in international business. I thought I will probably work for a bank or some other
corporation.
Yeah. Yes, corporation in corporate America. But I work with the county as a human service. I worked as a social worker, and I dealt with people. And I've seen a lot of young people that come to this country not knowing one word of English, and then 2-3 years they end up opening their own business, and they're so successful, and they don't need public assistance. My husband.
So that inspired you?
No, my husband inspired me. He's always pushed me. He knows that I'm great with people. I am easily, conversing when it comes to communicating with people. Everywhere I go, I make friends easily. So I kind of look like a salesperson, and I can sell something to people. I'll just give you to try this like I did, and you like the product now.
I did.
So yes, he's the one that pushed. And also another thing is my young daughter. I do have 3 sons, and my son was lighter skin than my daughter, and a lot of people will comment her skin color is darker, and people will be like, hey, she's darker than your sons, and I don't want my daughter to feel like she needs to change her skin color. She's also obsessed with Elsa, and she always loves her hair and blue eyes and all of that, but I always tell her, everybody is beautiful the way God created them. And my husband said we need an option for her to love her brown skin and curly hair and just to grow in a world that she feels beautiful the way she is. So this is why we started with the Leonora Healing Clay. That's our first product. Yeah. And then we started with that, and I put it on my skin. And there's a lot of people that bleach their skin, unfortunately, and that's one big thing that was going on within my community. So we are promoting young girls to believe in their beauty, and also making an income out of this.
What a lovely story that you were inspired to support the beauty of your child and to have her be able to embrace her beauty. Because we do have a lot of images. You were saying earlier, we're bombarded not only with who we think need to be wealthy or who are wealthy. We get thrown at us what we think is beautiful. And if we don't match what the media says that we should look like, we question. So I'm endeared that this is a product of the heart that supports young women to feel beautiful and to celebrate their brown and black color with grace and glory and excitement. I have two beautiful women in the studio today that are glowing with the Leonora cosmetic products. And we have run over our first segment, but that's okay. We'll make it up in the next segment. But I appreciate hearing, not only how you created this, but what were some of the original barriers, which makes having you be successful even more joyous. So we'll be back and we'll talk about what are some of the other challenges and what are some advantages in embracing who we are. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Connections Radio Show, where we talk about ideas that matter. And today we're very excited because the show is co-produced with the Reviving the Islamic Sisterhood for Empowerment. That's the RISE nonprofit. And joining me as my co-host today is Zainab Abdi. Zainab is the Civic Engagement Coordinator. And we've been celebrating an event coming up that we're encouraging folks to think about joining. The event is the Economic Empowerment Series. It's how to start a business for Muslim women. It goes from 6 to 7:30 p.m. It's on Zoom. It's online on June 23rd. And we've got a special guest, don't we?
Exactly. And today we have Anisa Haji, the founder of Leonora Skincare, who's joining us in this conversation and will join us at our event.
During the break, we had started to have a really good conversation. We learned in the last segment how Anisa really started this for her daughter and to celebrate her darker skin. And that we started talking about colorism and how that impacts our sense of beauty, our sense of image. And I want to continue that conversation. So, Zainab, tell me more about how you would define colorism and how that impacts us.
So when I think about colorism, I think about how it started and how it's introduced. So colorism has been introduced via Western media during the colonization time, and the emphasis of if you're white, colored eye, or have beautiful hair and all this thing, the beauty standard. And colorism...
More of a European...
Exactly.
White... Nordic, it sounds like, as well. It needs to be blonde and blue-eyed.
Exactly, yeah.
to meet. And does that get back to what we were talking about? What was it that your daughter's favorite?
Elsa.
Elsa, the blonde Nordic.
Yeah, and blue eyes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Fair skin.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And also we see it also, it's not only been introduced to our parents, has been introduced to our grandparents and on, generation and generation. And we are trying this generation to kind of cut tie from that. We need to stop that colorism continuing and embracing our skincare, our skin color and who we are. Because lightening skins has been something that we put a shame on ourselves, that we are not pleasing our community. We are not pleasing men if we are dark skin. And darkness has been used in a way of humanizations and in a way of dehumanizing people and sometimes being called names based on their skin color. For example, I know growing up I have been called like the blackbird, and like going from school on this, and when I was young, I have been trying to say, no, I'm not black. I am brown, or look, this is the color of the black, and this and that. And I feel like we even have been running away from our skins to justify that, no, this is the color of black, this is the color of this, because we don't want it to be in that category of blackness. And we run away from that blackness because we see it as bad things, because how society has been putting black-skinned people in a category.
So even in your community, if there are lighter skin, that has been ingrained through the media and through European influence, that is theoretically, supposedly better, so that if you have darker skin, you are feeling less than?
Exactly. Because like I came from a Somali and Yemeni family, and we are so mixed. Some of my family members are like very light skin, and like they have very brown eye that you could see in this, and you think that they're more of Syrian and this, and they're like my first cousin, while I be looked at more of like, oh, are you like far relative, or like how you know each other? I'm like, oh, we are from the same family, and like, and you see that colorism, and people try to divide families as like, oh, those are the good looking kids, and those are the kind of like they look more Afro, they are from their mom's side, or all this thing. And growing up, those has been affecting me, but I never let those continue to then like. We see all those colorism and the skin lighting products everywhere.
Actually lighten your skin.
Exactly. And I've seen many people, my neighbors, other like friends, have been doing that to lighten their skin so they be more appealing.
But that must not be really good for your skin.
Never.
I mean, I can't imagine bleaching skin is healthy.
Exactly. Yeah. It's never healthy, and I never let that happen to me. And I'm like wondering with Anisa, how does like Leonora challenge colorism and empower black and brown women to embrace their natural beauty?
So we have a store in Nairobi, Kenya, and Kenya, especially Eastleigh, the market, the most popular products are those bleaching creams. Owners of those stores create TikTok videos promoting those. So last week there was a video of a young woman. This man was mixing this things called Indian Bride, a bleaching with a bleaching water, and he mixed it, and he said he's gonna put it on her hand, and within 15 minutes the skin shade was lighter, way lighter. So from Zainab color to my color, and literally, he said within 15 minutes. So imagine if that cream stayed on her skin for 2 to 3 hours. It will probably, the thing is, a lot of these women, they just see the shortcut that maybe looking lighter makes you beautiful more than the dark skin. And they have this quote saying in Somali, "Habeen iyo doqonamado," means like women, the night and the stupid person is dark. Meaning, like, if you don't bleach your skin, you're stupid, basically. So I respond to those videos on TikTok. I have a TikTok account, and I said, hey, don't do this. I advise them in Somali, telling them that these chemicals have mercury, and that if they are pregnant, it can damage their child's, development. So
not only damaging themselves, but
if
they're
breastfeeding, that mercury can go into the baby and, use some kind of disability. It can also lead to kidney damages. It's 100% if you Google this harmful effects of bleaching creams, all those will come up. It can actually cause skin cancer as well. But they don't see all of that, and they reply to me in those TikTok videos, some women saying, hey, this is lies. We've been using this for years, or this is not true. And then their skin becomes, because the melanin is the one that makes you darker, it becomes so thin that you can see their blood veins through their face. And it's so thin that if they go outside in the sun, they will get sunburn right away and have, pigmentation. And if they're cooking and they go near the hot stuff, it will also affect them. But they don't see all of that. They just see this, and I feel like it's something, like a pandemic within our community, and Asians and Africans are the number one consumers of bleaching creams. They're manufactured in China, they're manufactured in USA. It's illegal, but still people find a way to bring it and sell it. There is people that are working against that here, advocating against, stopping this and making sure, but we as a community, we all have to come together to fight it. So the shop owner should not sell that. They should give them an alternative, like this natural clay, which our great-grandparents used it. This is a clay from Tana River. The neem is from neem tree leaves, which is very good. When you put on your skin, you get natural glow. It will cleanse it. If you have acne, if you have pigmentation, acne scars, it clears all of that. So people always often ask me, like, I look way younger than my age and I have a clear skin, and they say, what do you do? I tell them, like Zainab said, I've never used any chemicals that will harm my body. But a lot of people, like she said, my neighbors, I see them today, they're darker, tomorrow they look so white, you would think they have, white. So, and I tell them, just continue, we all have to speak up and tell young girls they're beautiful the same way. And then this video that I replied, this woman said, stop lying. I told women, because somebody said they will never get married to a dark-skinned woman. So I say there's hundreds of dark-skinned women that are married.
Yes. And then, beautiful.
Yes, and they're
happy.
beautiful
Yes.
and happy. And this lady replied to me, stop lying. Nobody wants black women because they're dirty. That's what they believe. So it's like Zainab said, it's back to colonization and this mentality that the European men that colonized us as Africans made us believe that our skin is ugly, being dark, and our hair is too thick, and believing that our eye. So it's all of that, and it's all over the world. That we have to continue speaking up, and having an alternative for women is something that inspired me. Making sure, because if I tell this young girl stop putting these chemicals, she'll say, "What shall I use to keep my beautiful skin glowing?" Then I tell them, "You have Leonora that you can use." And it's powder. You can trust it because it's powder. If it was mixed with something, then you would think it's probably something is added. So it's powder. You just take that clay, mix it, put it on your skin, exfoliate, remove all these toxins from the pollution, because we live in this busy world and we're always running. So, yes.
What I love is looking at beauty products that celebrate our beauty. But I think it starts with understanding that our inner beauty is important and that our color is something that we can be joyful about. I think back, my grandmother actually got a master's in chemistry way back in the early 1900s, and her study was on corsets. And back then, the view of beauty was having a very tiny waist. So they had corsets that would push a woman's waist so tight that it was actually breaking her ribs. And what women will do to, follow this perceived, generated view of what beauty is was killing them. These corsets could basically, go into your organs. But they did that because they thought that would be the only way to be pleasing. And I think we, as women, we're nurturers, and there is a joy in pleasing. But we have to start with feeling good about who we are. And I love that your product celebrates the beauty and the glow and the glory of Black and brown women.
Thank you.
And also, like, adding to this, men contribute a huge into this colorism, because the way they body shame women, and especially black women, the way they look down upon women. Malcolm X once said the most hated human in United States is a black woman. And we have been seeing it from the white community. We have been seeing it from the black community, especially black men hating on women, putting them down, and saying things of like, "Oh, you're black," or "You're this," or "You're ghetto. We don't want you," and this. That women have to change their identity to please men. And I feel like men need to stop doing that.
Well, one thing is being economically successful so that you can change some of the narrative, because as a corporate owner, you can start making an influence on how people think. So I commend the economic series that you all are doing. I commend the work that you're doing. But we do have to go to break. So we will go to break and we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about the economic series and how important business ownership is. And it may help not only your product, but being a business owner can help shape the future. So we'll be back in just a little bit. Stay with us as we talk about this wonderful product, Leonura, and the businesswoman behind it and the rise that supports it. You're a shero. We'll talk about that.
Thank you.
Connections Radio Show. I'm Lori Fitz, your host, and our show today is co-produced with our partners, the Reviving the Islamic Sisterhood for Empowerment, and that's the group RISE. They've got a great program coming up, Economic Empowerment Series, How to Start a Business for Muslim Women, and that goes from 6 to 7:30 on June 23rd. That's online. And my co-host today is Zainab Abdi. Zainab is the Civic Engagement Coordinator at RISE. Welcome, Zainab. So glad you're here today.
Thank you. And today we also have Anisa Haji, the founder of the Leonura Skincare.
We were having another good conversation during the break, and we were continuing the conversation on colorism and how challenging that is and what a heartbreak it can be. And this is in modern times right now. This is, during our time, this isn't, we talked a little bit about corsets, and that was like 100 years ago and the challenges of corsets. But skin colorization, having people bleach their skin, having horrible attitudes. And that you were telling me about this one young woman who was ready to get married, and her fiance had dark skin, such as hers. But when she was brought to be introduced to the family rejected her.
Yes, here in Minneapolis, and after a few weeks, I saw her lighter skin with acne, breakouts, because those chemicals are very harmful to your skin. I didn't comment on anything, but I knew she was going through something. I asked her, when is the wedding? She said she called off the wedding. Oh. And then after 6 months, she told me that she was really having bad acne, and she went to the doctor to try some medications like acne dermatologist, and it didn't work for her. So I recommended knee mask together with the essential oil, and she put it on, and her skin cleared. I saw her again 4 months ago, and her skin was back to her normal color. So right. I'm happy that she went through that phase just to feel like, don't harm yourself for the sake of a man. And you're beautiful the same way you are, and your marriage or whatever that's written for you will come to you on time. You just have to be confident and believe in yourself that you're beautiful, and no man shall pressure you to bleach or
family.
Yeah, or even family, or even society. The same society is pressuring our young girls, even as young as 5 years. They're commenting about the skin color and saying, hey, she's less prettier than the light skin, and saying maybe, oh, your daughter will probably bleach her skin because she will, at least if you had a light-skinned daughter than a dark-skinned daughter, something like that, which is it's going to hearing the same thing throughout. And a lot of these young women share with me on my socials, especially Snapchat, that, hey, I hated my skin throughout. Oh, thank you, Anisa, for speaking about this. Thank you for giving us an alternative, and stuff like that actually inspires me to continue speaking up and become an advocate, and also continue selling an amazing product so that they have this alternative.
Well, I think it's wonderful that your daughter has darker skin because that was part of your inspiration.
Yes.
And it may continue to support many young women to feel good about who they are and love their beautiful dark skin.
Yes.
And give it a glow that, as I said, we were playing with some of her cosmetics. The one that we were playing with this morning is the Leonura Essential Oil. It's a grapeseed oil. As soon as I put it on my hands, I went, oh my gosh. I mean, you can just feel it go in. It's very penetrating. And Zainab's put it on her face, and she's still glowing.
Yes.
But, it does come down to, how to overcome some of those barriers. not only in your self image, but the confidence that it takes to become a business owner. And I know that the program that you all are doing with economic empowerment is really to encourage more women to take that step. That you have to believe in yourself, just like you believe in your beauty. You have to believe in yourself in order to take that next step to be a business owner. Tell me about what that means to you as part of the Civic Engagement Coordinator and what you feel is important in terms of business ownership.
Yeah. So empowering Muslim women is one of our mission. And these economic series, we really wanted to also empower them economically. And also introduce them to that they don't need to adapt to new economic terms because they already had it in generation and generation. When we think about entrepreneurship and we think about investment, our ancestry had it. So, for example, one of the examples I have about investment and central bank is there is a term that called in Somali ayuto, and also in
Ayuta?
Ayuta, yeah.
Ayuta?
And in Arabic it's called hakba. So it's basically a term of like when a group of members of the community, let's say 10 women, come together, and it's always led by women. That's
good.
the
I like
beautiful
that.
thing about
I like
it.
this.
They came together and they all decide to collect, let's say, $100 a month. And we have 10 women collecting $100 a month. That's $1,000. Mm-hmm. And then they decided who's the one who needs that $1,000 this month. Who either for their small business or it's for their paying for their loans or paying something or they need for urgent hospital and all this thing.
So they were investors.
Exactly. And then the next month someone takes that into like everyone be able to take the 1,000. So 1,000 is kind of an example of small. People go high, people go low. And it's kind of like the trust built in within the community of like business is not about like my wealth, myself, my people.
Us
it's
against
about
them.
us. It's all about us with us, and it shouldn't be against anyone. And I feel like that's the beautiful. It's like we had it for a generation. We saw people helping each other with like no interest loans, and we see like community members when one person, their house is burned, everyone collects money and helping. So all those business and like investment term and entrepreneurship is already being built in our community. We just need to embrace that. And when we think about like today's like society of like how you build that business, all of us have our unique skills. Like Anisa had the story of like why she's doing this product, the skincare. She have a reason behind it, and that's her passion and her skills. You need to find your skill. I'm good at cooking. I love cooking. I know a lot of foods and culture. And one day I want to open my small food cart and like going around in the city and selling those foods that I always do. Like I always cook for my friends and family. So like find the passion in your within you. And it's always hard. You need to be patient. You need to invest. You need to learn so you could get into that high peak.
It's interesting because we were just talking earlier that sometimes things that you do well, you know, you can do well and you get hired for that, but they're not your passion. You were talking earlier about how you've got this great sales ability and everyone assumed that you'd go into a corporate sales job. But was that really your passion? I mean, is your passion to help your daughter feel good about who she is and celebrate that? I mean, that's a passion. That's something that you can wake up every morning and be excited about. And helping women to get in touch with that, I think that is a real joy. And I can see it in both your faces that you're excited about that. So in looking at this with entrepreneurship, looking at the community-based and creating that cooperative, that's shown up in banking and investing and philanthropy. And lots of products are out there that people want to purchase, right?
Exactly. And I would like to know more also from Anisa, like how do you go about starting your own business, and how you expand on that? Because I feel like me talking about all those amazing history, who we are, how we did the business is great, but people want to learn more about like your business, how you started it, and all those tips that you could give for our audience.
So we started Leonora together with my husband. A lot of people call me the founder because I'm the salesperson and I'm the woman, of course. But he's the one that does all the behind, the labels. He does, order the containers, mix the products, especially for the hair oil. And he's the one that came up with the original ingredients for all our healing masks. He started the business with me, and we've been working together as partner for the last 4 years, but we took off technically the last 2 years. We started with one product, the Healing Clay Mask, and now we have close to, I think, 40 products on our website. This hijab, I'm wearing it. We sell it on our website. We made abayas for Eid. This Eid coming, and we have dresses that are coming, especially the new designs, the sateen dresses. So this is what we do. Whatever profit we get from the business, we don't pay ourselves. We reinvest it into it since we didn't have, because we can go to the bank to get money because of the interest. So we started our own savings with the business, and we expanded through its profit from the sales.
And if people want to buy a product?
Yes, they go to our website. It's on that card, leonora.com, leonura.com. So that's where they can order it, and we deliver it. If you order like this two alone, it's free shipping. We pay for it as a complimentary. We ship it to all 50 states. We ship it to international countries like Canada, Europe, except Sweden, because their customs is a lot of pain. We have the products in Kenya, where we have a store in Italy, and every day we meet up with a young woman that comes. So about people starting their own business, I tell them, not everybody is supposed to be entrepreneur. If you love what you do, like Lori said, continue making that your passion. But if you want to go in a different direction, like if you want to have your own business, like Zainab said, find it your passion. Because don't do a business because somebody else is doing it. Do it because you love it. If it's cooking, that's amazing. People love food. If you open your own restaurant, you will get a lot of customers because it's authentic food and, because of your background. And so find that passion, be patient. It's not about the money. Eventually the money will come. All you have to do is focus that you continue providing the best service, being patient. The customer is always right. If like the orders, they receive orders and they didn't get it on time, we always say sorry because of COVID now,
Sure.
the post. And
people will be patient. And
Yes.
it is about the community. I love the story that you shared about, 10 women coming together, and it's really about how does community help each other. I also love a quote that I have from you that it requires patience, persistence, and passion. And with that, we're running over again. So I'm going to have us go to break. And when we come back, we'll talk about the program coming up and a little bit more about all the speakers and finding that intersection between passions and our skills. We'll be right back. Stay with us for our last segment coming up in just a moment. Welcome back to Connections Radio Show. I'm Lori Fitz, your host. And our show today is co-produced with our partners, the Reviving the Islamic Sisterhood for Empowerment. That's the group RISE. And joining me as my co-host today is Zainab Abdi. We're so glad you're here, Zainab. You've been wonderful in sharing with us about the program RISE does and bringing a guest. Zainab is also the Civic Engagement Coordinator at RISE.
Exactly.
You've got a great program coming up, too.
Yep, we have our program on June 23rd from 6 to 7:30 p.m. and it's about economic empowerment for Muslim women, how to start a business. And one of our amazing speakers is Anisa Haji, who is the founder of Leonora Skincare.
Welcome. We're so glad you're here. And as I said at the beginning of the show, we played with one of her essential oils. And we're all still glowing. And Leonora does mean glow today, right?
Yes.
Our today's glow. And we've also talked about the deeper beauty and celebrating the deeper beauty within. And part of the deeper beauty within is seeing ourselves as sheroes and not only embracing our beauty, but embracing our courage to go out and start a business. And what does that look like? And how can businesses get started? Your seminar sounds wonderful. If women want to join, Muslim women especially want to join the series, they can go to revivingsisterhood.org.
Exactly.
Is that right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, if women want to try your product, tell us a little bit more about how to get your product.
So you can order online on our website, leonora.com. It's LEONURA.com. So if you go there, you go to shop, and then you will see all the products that we have, the collection. So we have the healing masks on one section. You see all of them together. We actually have a collection where you get all 3 healing masks, this essential oil, a brush set to mix with, and then put it on with the application. And then we do have everything in there. So,
and you've also added a line of hijabs?
Yes. So the hijab I'm wearing now, it's sateen. We have the hijabs. You'll see that. And abayas. And then we bring in more dresses, like the sateen long dress, modest one, with long sleeves. So, yes, you can order all of those on our website. And most of the products, if you buy 1 or 2, we do free deliveries. But when it's a lot, it's like $4.90 delivery within all the United States. We ship it to all 50 states.
And you'll be talking about how to start a business.
So, yes, for the economic empowerment, yes.
And there is someone else that's joining that will be sharing about the business too, right?
Yeah. So in our series, we're expecting to have other speakers, including Annie Qaisar from the Silk Road Wellness, who also is Shiro. And this will be amazing of having different perspective of how to do business and different business and diversity within the business sector.
And what's wonderful is you're really encouraging women to be financially successful. And why is that so important to you?
It's very important because we live in an era where men are in the dominant society, and we need to shift that narrative. We need to have women lead, women of color, Muslim women of color lead in this business, because they are the ones who always bring it back to their community. They bring it back to their daughters, to their family, to their neighbors, to their community in a term of either building their community or giving back by money or education and all this thing. So that's why it's very important. We need people to put their passion and skills in a way of bringing back to others and build that economic wealth for themselves and their family and people around them. And always when women get to a place or to business, they don't come alone. They bring everyone with them. They bring their family, their neighbors, everyone with them in this success, and that's why we need to empower that. And Anissa, you're one of the amazing examples of that, and I would love to know your perspective. Why should Muslim women care about financial literacy and wealth building?
So like you said, women are the ones that are, they are the ones that are raising the next generation of our world. And I feel like them having a source of income, like you said, they are like the most largest contribution when it comes to building a mosque, when it comes to taking care of families back home in Africa. They always donate those money. They're the ones that are bringing other women on the table. And they're the ones that are, if a woman has money, she gives it to all her family. Unlike, the man, maybe he only spends it on his wife, or on himself. So because of that generosity and all this, women being the backbone of our society, we need women to work and make money and have businesses so that they can take care of the world.
Well, I've got 2 big lessons that came out of it today. One is women build community, and they support community, and they support women being economically successful. And follow your passion. Yes. Start small. Do it right. And that's a good lesson for all of us. Thank you for being with us today. And thank you so much to Rise for being our co-producers and partners with this wonderful series. Thank you so much, and thank you for being with us.